नमस्कार दोस्तों, मैं अमिताभ and you are watching Ed Talks with Amitabh. We have been bringing to you every Monday a resource to have a person who is a educational or a social influencer, or we are bringing in a particular area on which we are trying to generate, educate, and spread awareness. And on school times, as the vision is educating, entertaining, and empowering, we try to bring issues of relevance to educate and to empower and to entertain. Entertain with a purpose. And today, friends, from Maharashtra, the business capital of India, Mumbai, we have a resource, Mr. Divesh Bathija, with us. But then why have we called Divesh Bathija with us today? Since, during my school years, then becoming a psychologist, practicing it for last almost 3 decades, working with the education sector, setting up schools and colleges for clients, doing counseling for youngsters in various spheres of life. There's one thing which I found at every stage, every time that was constant, and that was math. Math was something which a lot of people have, youngsters during the school years. They're either you'll find people who are who enjoy it quite a lot, or there are people who say maths, Uri Baba. There is a fear of maths which is there. And there in this journey, we've met a man with a mission to simplify math, mission to unmath school. Now, the name of his institution itself is very interesting and intriguing, and that is his organization, the founder of Unmath School, Divesh Bathija. When I talked to him about the vision and ideology, he said that I want to unmath this fear of maths from schools. And that is the mission and the vision with which he is taking his journey forward, reaching out to schools and educational sector, and trying to make people get the essence, the flavor, the fragrance of math. When I say essence, the fragrance, and the flavor, there is a deliberate choice of these words, because when we say fragrance and flavor, we are either talking about the smell or we are talking about taste. And Divesh Bathija says that maths is everywhere. Maths is, maths is creative. Maths is imaginative. You turn around and whatever you look at, probably there is math there. And that is the kind of philosophy with which he has founded Unmath School. And we have found it to be most suitable to bring him on our platform and talk about something which I always believed. And there's one line which is common in my and Mr. Divesh Bhathija's belief, and that is maths is a language. And that is why even today's theme we have kept is math, the language of numbers. So let us try and unfold the mystery behind this language of numbers. Let's try and understand the semantics of it. Let's try and understand the grammar of the language called math. Let us try and understand how creative it is today, directly from the man on a mission to simplify and unmath schools. Founder of Unmath School, Mr. Divesh Bathija. So allow me to take Mr. Bathija connecting with us right now, waiting to be called up on the screen to have an interface with all of you friends right now in virtual studio. Namaskar, Divesh.
Hi.
Welcome to Ed Talks with Amitabh.
Namaskar. Thank you so much for the very, very warm welcome. I really, really loved the way you explained how on math and what math is all about. Thank you so much for that.
It's really a pleasure, and having you. I know that you are already braving the pandemic, and you are even right now on the move and though you have your main station in Mumbai, you're connecting with us from the another state, from Bangalore. So you are busy unmathing schools even now during this pandemic. So before we go on further, I would like if you could quickly brief us about your journey and this idea and ideology behind Unmath School, the institution that you have established.
Sure. So basically, when I was, when I was studying in school, I always knew how formulas really moved around. It made sense. It made a lot of logical sense to me. But for some reason, I never heard that from my teacher that if this is how you implement math, how is it really going to impact your personal life? I knew how it would impact my sums, but it wouldn't impact my personal life, and I never found any relevance towards it. I never found any connection to it. So that is where I personally felt that maths was always misinterpreted. And again, there I had a lot of friends who either loved the subject or kind of really feared the subject. So that was one area which kind of sparked a little bit of thought that why is maths so misinterpreted all throughout. Then with my last encounter when I was studying abroad in the UK, I came across a situation wherein the person who came and taught us, a professor, he mentioned a specific line. I'm sure if all the viewers were looking to it, be it teachers, be it children, be it anyone, would relate to this very short story of mine, which I would love to share. That it was an early morning on Monday at about 8 o'clock. A typical student goes. I was a student then. I went to the classroom. Obviously, not in the mood to attend the class because it was every child reads early in the morning and is wanting to rather relax at home. So when I
Right.
went in there, he picked up a statement and he said something which made me extremely happy. And usually I would have asked people to guess what he must have actually said. And in my past experiences, whomever I've shared this story, they would all tell me that you're from India, so your math may be good or something on those lines. So let me clarify, it was a finance course, nothing to do with
Okay.
math. But
Okay.
this professor, he said, I was in a classroom of about 19, 20 kids, and I was the only Asian. He said this chapter is not going to come in the exam.
Okay.
And I was thrilled. And I said, okay, this is
Okay.
not going to come in the exam. I need to get back. And there was no point in me sitting in the class for 2 hours.
Right.
But I was the only one who even decided to leave that class, while all my other friends never decided to even think of leaving. So a friend of mine from Germany, he stopped me and told me, "Why are you leaving right now?" And I said, well, this is not going to come in the exam, so why should I, sit down and spend 2 hours out here? And he said, no, if you look into all the chapters, everything is interconnected. I was going to miss the first chapter, while in the second, third, and the fourth, and the fifth, that was the final chapter, every important diagram and every important definition, it said, as explained in chapter one. And I was like, okay, I was about to leave the first chapter. And that's when I kind of had a small setback and I realized that this is how I've been studying all throughout my life. And let's be very honest to everyone, no matter which board you go to, no matter which school you go to, if a child knows that this chapter is not going to come in the exam, I am 100% sure that most of these kids will never even go through that chapter because it's not going to be of any use to them, because
I
it's
totally
not
agree with
going to come in the exam. Now, this is where the idea intrigued me that, okay, I think the marks allow us to move to the next level. It's a good yardstick. It assesses your knowledge. But I'm not the biggest fan of the current evaluation system. However, I feel just current at that point of time, if you memorize something, it's okay, it's good. But as an overall skill set, how do you utilize it? If you talk about an exam, specifically in mathematics exam, I'm sure this is one thing every math teacher will definitely agree with me on. You go and stand outside a classroom after an
you.
exam is over, and children step out, and the first words that they come out, this question came from that textbook, or this question was from that exercise, or from that worksheet, or from the revision that teacher did in the class.
Right.
There's never going to be a discussion, hey, you know what, I tried a new formula for this. I kind of looked into exploring a new way of solving the same sum. If they don't understand the question, this question was outside the curriculum. It cannot be possible. It's math. How can you have it outside curriculum? It's all based on logic,
Right.
right? So
Right.
that is where it kind of I mean, I thought, this is something I want to change. I want to see the way people look at math. And I started digging in. And while I started digging in, I started realizing that maths was restricted to your textbooks. Every child looks at math only and only from a textbook point of view. So they don't see math in their real life. So, but in our entire journey, our process is to tell them, hey, you watch television, there's math in it. You're eating a cereal, there's math in it. You're drinking milk, there's math in it. You're drinking water, there's math in it. There's literally everything that you see around you, and there's math in it. So yes, that's just a journey. We wanted to spread the language of math.
All right. So, it's so awesome to hear, and how a particular experience in your life has transformed into a vision to unmatched school, and you institutionalize it as well. So, congratulations for a lovely vision and thought that you have, and you are doing an amazing work. In fact, listening to you makes me, gave me a lesson just now, and which I would like to emphasize for our viewers, that friends, connections are important in every aspect of life. हम लोग आजकल नेटवर्किंग की दुनिया में रहते हैं. हम लोग कहते हैं भाई जिसके जितने अच्छे कनेक्शन वो उतना आगे जाएगा. And right now, listening to Divesh ji, I realize that even in maths, if you lose connections, you lose your next chapter, you lose your next concept. So it's very important, curriculum or not in a curriculum, whether it's going to be asked in uh, the exam or it's not going to be asked in the exam. It's very important to understand those connections, because one concept connects with the other, and that networking of concept, that connection is going to help you move ahead. And that's what I realized, and I developed an analogy. Lesson of life is a lesson for mathematics as well. So
True.
thank you so much for emphasizing the way on that. So let's take the journey forward. And now I would like to, let's talk about some coffee table questions, because we will be having teachers here listening to us, parents as well as students, either in live mode or in a recorded mode. Now, there are some very basic uh, coffee table question is, or evening um, chit chat questions are that maths is a feared subject. There is a mindset about maths. So why
Correct.
is this fear, and why is this mindset?
Okay. I think to simplify this, and for everybody who's watching this, I know a lot of parents who always say that, I wasn't very great in math. So there's a huge scare created around it. Let me tell you that till date, when children learn tables in school, okay, you ask, this is the most basic thing that you learn in math. The minute you enter school, they make you do tables and basic numbers. If you ask any child, why do you do tables, nobody will have an answer. That's because there's zero relevance in what you're learning. So relevance is a word which we need to bring back. The fear is only and only there because you don't know how does it apply in my real life. Just going back to an example that you mentioned about networking. Now,
Right.
the amount of algebra that is used in the networking that you do in a
Okay.
real life uh, is phenomenal. So, you know that you may want to connect with four people, but to reach to those four people, you may have to go via different connections. And you build up equations that, okay, if I connect with this person, I may be able to open up my doors to another person. Simple example. It's all about creating equations, and it's all about writing down. Of course, in a real life, we don't sit down with a pen and paper and write a plus b the whole square, but at the back of our mind, we are subconsciously using it every single moment of our life. So
Okay.
if anybody picks up any chapter of mathematics, what we also need to do out here is, since this is a very basic conversation with everyone who would like to do this, I would request a small activity for all parents to sit down with their kids and try and find an answer that why was see there's science in our curriculum, there's language in our curriculum, there's history, there's geography, why math? Why do we have math? I mean, it's not only about, buying and selling. It's not only about going and paying money to buy bread and coming back with the, return change. It's a lot more than that. It's every decision that you take. So it helps you decide and helps you make decisions appropriately. So there's a reason why math is introduced into your curriculum. So A is the relevance of why math in your life, and then why each and every concept. So I would feel, because this part is not clarified or this part is not addressed, the fear prevails so much that, let's say, for example, a person who doesn't know why am I going to use trigonometry in my daily life, and you force them to do sine theta and cos theta. I mean,
Right.
I'm sure anybody's going to get scared out of it. So,
Absolutely.
yes, that would be my response to this.
So the fear is more because of people not having a grasp of the concept,
Correct, because they don't know not even the grasp, I would say rather the relevance of the concept, that where will it be
relevance,
useful to me. So
the
for me,
utility.
if at all, if I, yeah, so why do I use it? How does it affect me personally? Unless it doesn't affect me personally, why should I do it? So that's what matters the most.
All right. So, friends, here I would like to share an MKF, the Mohan Ka Funda, which I'm reminded listening to Devesh explaining this phenomena. We all have an invisible board hanging in front of us, and where there's a question written on it, and that is, "What's in it for me?" इसमें मेरे लिए क्या है? And that is applicable in every aspect of life, every sphere of life. We get motivated to do things and take initiatives when we have clarity, what's in it for me, right? And that is where same thing is with a subject, that is maths. Until
Correct.
unless a child knows and has a clarity of this, that what's in it for me, does not get motivated, and then doesn't work and casually works on it and develops a fear for the same. Dinesh, I also have, as a psychologist, I always looked at it with a perspective which I would like to share about, what you said is there in addition to that, is, you know, when we were growing up, uh, somebody said ABCD is English and 1, 2, 3 is math. And if at that point of time somebody would have said ABCD is math and 1, 2, 3 is English, and after that people would have said maths is something to be afraid of. Don't take it lightly. It's difficult because we've constantly been told it's difficult. Be careful. It's not English. It's maths. It's not Hindi. It's math. That kind of a communication that has been taking place, that has instilled that before even we knew what is maths, we knew it is something to be afraid of. So there is a mindset which is created. So when you are dealing with youngsters and parents and all, so what kind of communication you are having about this mindset aspect of maths?
Yes, I think that's a very good question. In fact, I think the main area is the mindset, and how do you approach it? Is because when we look at math during the pre-COVID times, our major mod would be to just try to make sure that we have a game. So we have a cricket field ready, we have a soccer field ready, we would have table tennis, carom board, we would have darts, we would have bowling. So any game that would be available in Hamleys or in a toy store would be our
Right,
math textbook. So again, if you see, there is no direct mathematics in a carom board, but the minute you look at the carom board very carefully, you can actually see every single line, every single circle, every single angle decided over there is based on math. Without those mathematical properties, the entire carom board cannot function at all. So the
right,
minute you start showcasing this to children in a very unconventional manner, so I think it's time that our children start looking at math beyond textbooks, like I said. So our approach has been to subconsciously introduce them to various concepts. So let's say, for example, we start playing a game of cricket with the intention that the child knows that, okay, I'm here to play a game, I'm here to compete with another team, I'm here to defeat them.
right,
In the bargain, the rules of the game are such which mathematically start making them realize that, hey, you know what? I actually used math out here. I didn't realize that. So before that 30-minute slot is over, they kind of go back in the classroom thinking that, you know what? We did use math also. And so what we've been doing in our textbooks is not that difficult. So it's all about the way you look at things, so the way you present things. I think the teachers have been trying really hard and I see a huge change that has come in the last 8 years in the way teachers have been wanting to approach math. And but what happens is in math after a point, uh, you land up making it a little more abstract, and that is where that part gets a little tough on people, on children who are not able to cope up, or may not be able to ask the right questions. So several times these are the things because of which, and also what happens is, a lot of kids may be able to grasp the answer very fast. So the ones who are able to answer very fast, when they start responding in the classroom, the others feel a
right,
little shy to say, okay, maybe he's got it, maybe it's very simple and I'm the only one who did not understand. So
right,
they start shying away. So again, this is where the gap starts increasing. When we start, our mode of communication is to make them feel very relaxed about the subject, and not like you said, the way this whole pressure has been created around math as a subject is very difficult and it's very complicated. I think it's more about making bringing them to real life. So I remember this one incident. I'm going to share this with all of you. uh, I was in a classroom in one of the schools in Ahmedabad, and the children were having a healthy conversation with me. And one of them
okay,
stood up and said that, sir, all said and done, I feel that, our concepts of doing trigonometry, I'm not going to be an engineer. Why should I do trigonometry? And if you can justify this to me, I'm going to fall in love with math again. So I said, you know what? Me talking about it will not make sense. Why don't we do something together? So I sat them down
right,
and made them analyze that each and every security camera in their school. And I told
okay,
them that now you identify by changing the height of the camera and by adjusting the angle, can you get rid of a certain number of cameras in your school? That means
okay,
by increasing the height and by changing the angle, you were in a better position to cover more area in the same camera. So they said, okay, sounds like a task. They all of them went, they spent, the school was very willing to let them, take a half a day off, do this. I said, this is one investment that none of your teachers will ever regret in their life, which they said they were very forthcoming. They spent 2 hours on this entire thing. They came back with returning three cameras to us, reporting that these three cameras are not required because we changed the height and the angle of certain particular cameras. Now, if you see the domino effect it can have,
right,
you're reducing electricity cost. You're trying to remove, you've started making them realize that a CCTV camera is a must in today's time. Every office has
right,
a CCTV camera.
right,
So it's not that only if you're an engineer you're going to use it, you're going to use it everywhere. So there
right.
you go. You used all the angles, and then these children started realizing that yes, this will affect me, so I can understand math. So that's where it's very important to make them actually experience this whole concept.
All right, that's so amazing and awesome. That's very intriguing. In fact, this reminds while you were giving earlier example in your narration of sports analogy that you gave. I recall that you have another project where you've come up with an application with Ajit Agarkar cricket, maths with cricket or something like that. Can you share a bit of input about that? What is it all about?
Sure. So we've collaborated with a family, which is founded by his wife Fatima and Ajit Agarkar sir, and they were very kind enough to brainstorm on ideas during the COVID time, that how we could bring his expertise as a cricketer, and how we could team up with the ideas of math together, because a cricket match is all about
Right.
math and every aspect. But what happens is, the when you talk about cricket and math, the most obvious things are numbers and stuff like that. But what's also very important is, what does a player do inside the dressing room, and what kind of
Right.
math does he actually imply? What kind of decisions does he or she really make at that very point of time? So, as a
Okay.
cricketer, what experiences he shares when he's on the field, he's on the fielding side, or he's on the bowling side, on the
Right.
batting side,
Right.
since he's been an all-rounder. So he would try to bring his experiences that, okay, look, when I was playing against this match,
Viewers,
I was
please bear
using
with us for
percentage.
signal drop in between.
That's okay. I hope I'm audible.
Yeah, you're audible. Your signal dropped for a while.
Oh,
When you
okay.
were explaining that Ajit Agarkar's experience, he's sharing you after that.
Correct. Yeah. So when he brings across his experiences as as a bowler or as a batsman or as a fielder, at different experiences while he's on the field, off the field, when he's training for a particular tour, or after the tour is completed, when they look back to their entire performance, every single thing is actually based on mathematics. Every decision is based on numbers. Every analytical point that they put across in front of the entire team is based on math. Of course, you have a lot of other forces that go into the game, but the background of that game does revolve around math. So not that they sit down again and calculate things in terms of an equation, but which this whole experience of did I drop again?
For a few fraction of seconds, yes.
Sorry, so I'll repeat that part. So basically, it was his major expertise. How do they use numbers and how do they use math is what he wanted to bring to all the children through that project of
Okay.
cricket math.
All right, that's fantastic. It's so interesting and intriguing that now you are using various modes and means to make maths interesting. And if the child is not interested in maths or academics, but interested in crickets, you are getting them interested and hooked up to maths as well, because you are making them see a reason to study maths to be a good cricketer as well.
True, very true. I think that inspires a lot of these kids. That, oh, so do I need to learn math to be a cricketer? And I'm like, yeah, obviously. I mean, deciding on what kind of a bat do you want to use and to how do you turn the ball, everything has to
Absolutely.
get
At
inspired
what
on that
angle to
particular
pitch
line.
the ball so that it gives you the necessary swing or whatever. There's all mental maths going on in the mind of the bowler at that point of time. All right. Today, viewers and audience, bear with us. There seems to be some technical glitch and a signal drop. Mr. Divesh Bathija is traveling and is in a different city than his home city, and that is where bit of a signal connectivity issue is there. Divesh, are you there? Can you
Yeah,
hear me?
am I
Yes,
audible?
yes, you are. You are audible. You're audible.
Sorry for that. Yes.
All right. No worries. I'm sure that our audience is patient enough to bear with us on these technical glitches, and everyone knows that we are in the virtual mode these days. Coming back, Divesh, are you there?
Yeah, I'm there very much. Yeah, I'm here.
Uh, Now, there's a, you know, when in some of our interactions at different platforms, you have emphasized on connection of maths and creativity. And I would like to understand the connection. Even I know that you have taken certain initiative of bringing artists and musicians and people from different walks of life and explaining the application of mathematics in painting, application of mathematics in music. So I would like if you can throw some light for our viewers and audience, for children as well as parents and teachers, what is the connect with creativity and maths?
Well, creativity is definitely, it's a structured process. A lot of people think to be creative, you don't need math, but that's not the case. The purpose of creativity comes from a mathematical approach, like you see right from your childhood. And, the purpose of connecting with a lot of people from different professions was with the intention that how do they use math in their daily lives. So let's say my recent interaction with somebody who designs video games, what kind of math does he use? So imagine for children, video games is something which they play in their free time, but if they would explain that while that game was being created, there was so much math involved in it, so that in your screen, what is the ratio of each and every image or each and every figure that you're actually playing with,
There's a complete algorithm plan.
Everything that you look at is based on math.
Divesh, I would request you to repeat what you said. The signal has got
Yeah, am I audible
signal
now?
dropped again. You're audible again. I think there's a signal fluctuation is there. Can you just repeat what you were explaining?
Should okay, yeah. Let me just start that again. I'm just trying to connect my Wi-Fi to my laptop.
Uh, Viewers, right now, Divesh was explaining that how maths is connected with various aspects of creative fields, and that's where his signal is dropped. And uh, he talked about that when we talk about art, it is a structured process. And all right, he's there with another connection, so let me take him on.
Okay, I think now
Uh,
I'm audible.
yes, it is. It is better.
My apologies once again. So
No, no,
yes,
it
uh,
happens.
we will what we I'll just run you through the entire process of a video game designer, and I was really impressed to know that how a person who designs video games is actually in a position to use so much math continuously, to understand that what's the ratio of each and every figure that is there on their particular aspect on the screen, because a video game is played on the phone, on the iPad, on the TV. The appearance is more or less same. It's never going to
Okay.
change. I mean, of course your screen is going to change, but the ratio will always adapt to the screen that you are actually playing it. So the game developers have to be prepared that where their game will actually be played. Now, many a times when we all travel, we used to travel before the pre-COVID era. We managed to get a pilot from Indigo, and we asked him that what kind of math would you be using. And there was a very interesting concept which I don't think any of us would have actually ever thought on that front, which said we all are aware that we have a certain amount of capacity of weight that we can carry in. Now, what is the purpose of charging more? A lot of people feel that it is a cost for a low cost airline to charge that extra money or to make extra revenue. Well, that's not the case. So as an airline pilot, he knows the technical detail, and there is very simple math around it. So let's put it across this way. You travel on the flight and you've got 100 passengers. Now, if each passenger is allowed 15 kilograms to actually travel with, the aircraft will need certain amount of fuel to fly with those many passengers. But the minute
Right.
you increase your weight, the aircraft also needs more fuel to fly. Now, if you start
Right.
counting, I just have 2 kilograms or 3 kilograms extra, but if you multiply that with almost 100 people, you've got almost 300 kilograms overloaded on the flight, and that
Right.
impacts the fuel calculation of the flight. So when the
Okay.
aircraft charges you for an extra weight, it's not because they want to make money out of you. They want to charge you to bear the cost of fuel, which is going to be used more because of your weight. So it's the certain amount of it's divided amongst all the people. Now, the empty space which they have, if that would not be, I mean, if we don't carry excess weight, people
Right.
I mean, who send couriers, so your DTDC or all the other courier companies, they put in
Right.
their excess cargo which is carried on. Now their excess weight bears that cost, and that is why that's how the whole dynamics work. Now, this is something which we would never read in our textbooks, we would never read in our simple, I mean, it's all unitary method: more the weight,
Right.
more the fuel cost, but lesser the
Right.
weight, less the fuel cost. But the flight has already calculated that you will be traveling with at least 15 kilograms, and they have to keep that buffer in their mind that this is what we are expected with. So these are small things which you get to know. Even when they start talking to us, they start realizing that look, there's actually a lot of math involved, and we never knew about it. So I would suggest that uh, whatever you do, whatever you see around you, just question two things: is there any math involved in it? And another question: what would happen if there was no math involved in it? I think your entire perception towards the subject and the entire surrounding will change drastically.
All right. That's such an awesome explanation. And interestingly, while you were explaining and giving the example and connect of maths with the computer gaming or the software and the programs. We have someone joined us as a viewer by the name itself is Start Gaming. And yes, he has introduced himself that he's Karthik Singh of the Jain International School in Kanpur, and he's mentioned that he's a student of TJIS. So it's very interesting coincidence. Someone who I'm sure Karthik must be quite fond of gaming. That's why he's kept his YouTube name as Start Gaming. So that's interesting and intriguing. I hope Karthik, you are listening to us and you are realizing the relevance of maths and you are good with maths and you work uh, and develop yourself even more in maths because that is relevant to gaming as well. That's such an interesting narration to hear from you. Now, this brings me to ask a question that you have expanded your unmatched school in India, in UAE, in Sri Lanka, and there are you've crossed boundaries and you have your network across. So, how do you go about unmatching school?
Okay, so basically, what we do is we pick up a project, and when I say a project, pick up a school which is very eager to kind of change the way they want to approach math, and we spend about a couple of days in the entire year trying to regroup the entire math team, trying to understand that how math could be applied in every single corner of the building. So the first thing we go and tell them that if you have a math lab, great, but if you don't have, the entire school could be treated into a math lab. We try
Okay.
to create and identify various spots across the schools where we can try to say that, okay, this is where math could actually be applied. And then we start mapping it to the curriculum by saying the grade one children could be taken on a tour to this part of the school, and you can show them the meaning of even and odd numbers or basic counting of numbers. While you could take children of the higher grade and understand how ratio and percentage is actually playing an important role in the playing field of your entire school. Uh, every minute part of the school is actually investigated, and that is then shown to them that how they could explore math. So that's the first step that we actually take. We pick up a lot of waste material from the school, saying that
Hmm.
everything which the school is going to trash and never going to recycle, we take those things into consideration and we try to create games around that, which could teach various concepts of math. And we call that as a concept of green math, wherein we are showing
Okay.
children that as a math teacher, you're actually solving a problem of the universe, not just by solving a sum, but also trying to show that how you need to save the environment as well. So that's another way of looking at it. Looking at gamification of math, like I said, picking up all indoor outdoor games which may not have direct relevance towards math, but have some sort of connection if math in it. So that's where we try to build those connect. And towards the end, we try to have a discussion with the entire staff, not just the math staff, but to tell them that in every subject that you're teaching, there is some sort of math use. So if you could start emphasizing on that, that okay, look, in geography this is where math was used, in English or in Hindi this is where math was used, and then the child starts thinking, oh, so what I'm learning in my math class also makes sense in all the other subjects. So there's a lot of interdisciplinary, which of course a lot of schools do for all these subjects. We try to specialize that only and only for math in general. So that these are a few things which allow us to kind of work with teams in a very unconventional manner. And off lately, yes, we've been working with a lot of teams to engage with children to do online sessions, but at the same time to maintain the interest level. So picking up a newspaper article and trying to do math around it, picking up a current situation, picking up say something at home, maybe a water bottle at home, picking up your phone and trying to explore that, or anything around you, and try to start assessing and investigating how math could play a very important role.
All right, that's fantastic, and that's a lovely message. Here, I would, just out of curiosity, let me put you in a situation of difficulty, and that is, as you gave an example, try and see maths in every subject, English or whatever it be. So, can you give an example for our viewers and particularly young children that how they can see maths in a subject which is non-science, non perceived to be non-mathematical, non-commerce, any of the humanities subjects, say like uh, English or history or any example?
Well, to be very honest, you talk about English or you talk about history. I mean, they're two different subjects, but it's very easy to relate math in it. You're talking about history is all about estimation. Everything
Right.
that you read is you have archaeologists who have estimated because nobody has lived that long to determine how strongly that this was in this particular year, but still in our history textbooks, we have 1621, we have 1875, we have all those dates because those estimations are there. There's some sort of evidence which they can go back to and they can track that. These are a few things which they actually can. But apart from just estimation, there are also things which help you understand that if this was a situation back then in history, what were the possibilities that a particular person had at that point of time. So what are his options, and what could be the possibility of that person to do something in a different way? Again, different analogies. You're looking at people conquering. You study about battles. When you look at battles, you look about one particular army reaching another army, trying to attack them. So when they're attacking them, you always notice that there are tall forts. Why were there tall forts? Why were there strong barricaded gates? Why were all your tanks kept on the top? Why did you have people who were trying to use? We see in films as well these days. So children have a better visualization also as compared to just looking at them or just reading a textbook. So I would say that there is a lot of possibility to showcase them that how math was involved. Like when we read in Maharashtrian textbooks, we read a lot about Chhatrapati Shivaji, how he goes and conquers a lot of forts. So when he is trying to climb up a uphill, he's using some sort of math in it. He's using the Pythagoras theorem that, okay, hey, if I go up in this way, I will be able to reach in so much time. So again, that's getting into the nitty-gritties of it. But if you talk about
Right.
English, you talk to them about the fact that you're reading a book. English is all about reading stories. So imagine if I tell them to start calculating the average words used in a particular book on every page and compare it with another author altogether. And who's
Okay.
taking more area out here, and what is the kind of time and what rate are you reading a book, and how fast are you completing a book, what's your reading speed, and I mean, so there's so many things that can actually be explored when it comes to anything around you in math.
Okay, that's so beautifully explained. Thank you so much for explaining that. Now, this brings me to talk about something that we have been planning together. Which we have planned to start on 12th of this month. And we are talking about simplifying maths. We are trying to. We are talking about giving a you know. New dimension and a perspective. So, before I come to that, let us take a quick promo break, and we will share a quick promo for this new program that we are talking about. Let us introduce it with a concept, and then I'll request you to explain to our viewers the whole idea and the concept and how it's going to get executed. So, let me just quickly take this promo break, and I'll
It's fun, it's creative, it can help you imagine. It's all around you. You can communicate with it. Yes, friends, I'm talking about language. Language of maths. The School Times, in collaboration with Unmatched School, brings to you Math Debate, hosted by a very dear friend who is with a vision to simplify maths, removing this fear of maths from the mind of the young generation, Divesh Bathija. Inaugural program, 12th of November. Stay tuned to School Times and keep watching Math Debate and other programs.
Friends, this is what our new program is with Divesh Bathija. The School Times and Unmatched School are collaborating to come up with this new phenomena introducing the concept of math debate. Now, Divish is just the right person to talk about it because he is going to host this show as well. He's going to be your host and host, making debating of on concepts of maths and making it easy for you. So, over to you, Divesh, about explaining this. Unfold the curtain and let people know what it is going to be all about.
Thank you so much for that. I mean, I'm in awe with the promo already, and I'm hoping that all the kids and all the learners out there would take this opportunity to explore and look at math in a very different way. We've seen a lot of extempos, we've seen a lot of debates that happened across the globe, but this time we wanted to bring something very different, and that's why we got the math debate. Well, we are not going to talk about. Do you know the formula better than the others? No, that's not what we're going to do. We are purely going to assess your logical skill sets and the way you approach a particular concept in a very, very systematic manner. And how are you going to do that? We all the children, those who have, I mean, I must have to also say a big shout out to everyone. We've received an overwhelming response for the very first round, and we will be getting back to all of you who've shown that kind of love and support. We will be talking about, we'll be shortlisting you, we'll be allocating you different slots in the weeks to come. You will get an opportunity to present that in every situation where math has been applied in a much more structured manner and where there's more relevance of math. Let's say, for example, if I take Olympics as an example, and we pick up four different sports and each team is going to be allocated certain amount of sports, they may have to pick up that one particular sport to their team, and they may have to talk about why more math was applied in my sport as compared to the others. We are going to see that which team can actually convince us that without a single possible concept of math, not a single part of that entire sport could be calculated or to be moved ahead. So that's a very short way of putting it across. But I would want all of you to stay tuned and join us on from the 12th of November and see this for yourself, that how exactly this is going to turn around.
So, friends, I hope you are clear about this phenomena and concept of maths debate. Uh, we are going to debate math and we are going to explore the possibilities of math in every aspect and every sphere of life. Now, the question is, Divesh, can you just give a little bit of a tip to youngsters and who wish to participate? The levels up to which class we are going to focus in this first phase of our math debate, and how can parents help the children or kids can prepare themselves to be part of this debate?
Well, I would say children from grade 4 and above could be a part of it, from 4 to 8 mainly, and in the first phase. And when you're gearing up for this entire debate, remember two things: investigate and explore. So when I say investigate, whatever object you see around you, that's the best practice. Okay, anything around you, look at the math applied in it. Try to investigate what would happen if math would have not been applied in it. Try to build the relevance of it and the importance of it. So, as simple as if I pick up a basic bottle of water in front of you right now, I may want to identify that what kind of math is involved in this bottle, the area required for this sticker to be printed, the amount of plastic required for the cap, because this is different material compared to this plastic used out here. The amount of volume that the bottle can actually carry, and this amount of little bit of space that needs to be left in order to seal pack the bottle. What would happen if that space would have not been there? What would happen if this bottle was shaped in a different way? If it was shaped in a different way, would it impact the logistical challenges? So, I mean, just to give you a relevant example, this is happening currently in our real life scenario. For all those who are tech enthusiasts or follow new phones that keep coming up. Um, Recently a very big company let go of charging cables, or charging bricks, to be rather more precise. Cables were included, the bricks were removed, and the boxes were reduced to almost half its actual size that we would get initially. And by that, they were trying to say that we were trying to create a green environment. But let's be honest, they were saving a lot of money on their shipping as well. Of course, the green impact also counts by reducing producing less e-waste, but it also reduces a lot of cost in terms of transportation. So you imagine one thing can lead to another, and what is the kind of domino effect it can have is something which you need to assess. So for all the children who want to get geared up or who want to prepare, I would suggest try to look at everything from an investigation angle and explore as much as possible. Go back to your textbook, ask yourselves, if I've done a particular concept, does this hold any relevance in my real life? If it doesn't, go to your math teacher, ask them that where does this actually help me? Ask your parents, ask your friends, ask the right questions. That is very, very important.
This also brings me, a few days back when we started letting people know that this program is going to come up, we received an email from a young child, a student from West Bengal. And the query was, what is going to be the debate in it?
Correct.
We can talk about a concept of maths, but what is the element of debate in it?
So the element of debate would be, say, like I said, there'll be four teams, and they're going to, ask each other, they're going to present their point, that why my sport. Like I give you an example of Olympics. I'm not going to reveal what's going to happen in the coming week, but I want to tell you that, for an example, like I said, you have an Olympic theme. Each team is given one sport. You need to say that there is more math used in my sport as compared to the other sport. Now that's when you start debating that, hey, look, you know what, I if this part wouldn't have been there, my sport could not succeed. But while the other person says, I have more mathematical applications. So somebody who can kind of help us understand that there was more math applied in their sport, that team is going to actually debate and win the whole round.
Okay, so we are going to debate that who has more maths in it.
Correct, absolutely. We have more relevant
If we are
applications of
talking
math.
about game X and game Y, say like Devesh and Amitabh are in a debate about, say, cricket is Devesh's game and hockey is Amitabh's game. So we are both going to talk about, Devesh is going to tell me that how swing can have bats, and I'm going to tell him that while converting a corner into a goal, what kind of maths can be applied there. And both of us are going to
Correct.
prove a point that my game has more maths. So it's all about
More math and
application.
more complex math. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Correct.
Right. Okay. So that's fantastic. So I hope audience viewers, you're clear about what maths debate is going to be all about. We've got an amazing response from different parts of the globe for people, schools wanting to participate. We've got a very encouraging response from different parts of India. We've got good response from West Bengal. We've got good response from Maharashtra. We've got a good response from Uttar Pradesh. We've got a good response from UAE as well, Middle East. We are getting schools getting interested. So I think we have a pretty encouraging involvement people are getting into. So friends, please save the date. Match debate starts 12th of November. इस बार
Correct.
दिवाली और छोटी दिवाली और धनतेरस एक ही दिन शेड्यूल हो गया है, इसलिए 12 की तारीख हमें खाली मिल गई, तो हमने सोचा कि धनतेरस नॉर्मली 12 को होता, तो दैट वुड बी just the right day to begin, have an auspicious beginning for maths debate. So 12th, that is going to be the second Thursday. So every month, second and the fourth Thursday, save the date and save it in your calendar. We are going to have math debate. You are going to experience, if you're participating, great. If you're not participating, even if as a viewer, you're going to get a lot of insight into various dimensions of life and how is maths there in those aspects of life. So it's going to be maths and life, and there's going to be debate around that. So, Deveshji, your final word in today's episode to our viewers about maths, about unmath, and about math debate.
Thank you for having me here, and I'm sure all of you, those who are listening, I think the first things you can do is whatever device you are listening on, start analyzing what kind of math is used in that. That would be my first goodbye, thought. If you're sitting in front of a laptop, judge the kind of angle you were listening at. If you're using a mobile device, see the dimensions, identify the weight, compare that, see the ratio of the screen. Anything and everything around you has a lot of math. It is subconsciously used. uh, Try to start understanding the power of that how it actually revolves around your entire thing. uh, about math debate, I would tell you this is going to be a very different perspective. Whether you want to participate, whether you want to view, if you've ever feared the subject, this is the place you've got to be there. If you've ever loved the subject, you're going to love it even more. So I would suggest that keep exploring, keep talking about math, and most importantly, spread the language of math with us through math debate.
So, keep exploring math and spread the language of maths with us in this math debate every Thursday. Sorry, every alternate, that is second and the fourth Thursday every month. Stay tuned to School Times. Thank you so much, Devesh, for such enlightening perspective about maths application in various spheres of life. The simplicity of maths, which has been complex with the mindset that people have developed about maths, and your compliments for your initiative to simplify it and unmathing this mindset, which is so negative about maths in so many minds. So if you don't like maths, you will start liking maths. If you already like maths, you'll start loving maths, and join in our passion, my passion, and Divesh passion to make people understand and get perspective and spread what we refer as the language of maths. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Stay tuned. Looking forward to seeing you all on 12 for maths debate and for other school times programs. Till then, remember, दो गज दूरी है जरूरी. जब तक दवाई नहीं, तब तक दिलाई नहीं. Stay safe. Take care.